This is Future Sight, a Warmachine and Horse show covering games, events, theory, the meta and more. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content at KS1 Gaming. Thanks and enjoy. Good evening, welcome to Future Sight. Me and Evan are back. Evan's been travelling all over the place to, I assume, very sunny South Africa for your birthday. So welcome back
was
to
indeed.
the UK. Not a bad comeback, right? Come back and then that week back away for a weekend of nerd games. So happy belated birthday and welcome home. And
Thank you so much.
We're here to talk about the Welsh Masters. So just a little event.
Yeah.
So the last Welsh Masters this is the first one for you, right?
This is my second one.
This is your second one.
So
all right.
Yeah, I arrived in the UK just in time for the first one.
Just in time.
Was fantastic. All psyched for the second one, and then some idiot coughed on a pangolin or something, and it all went to shit.
Yeah. Oh, Dom, thanks for the somebody. It's cool. But yeah, so obviously we've had no Welsh Masters for a while. The last one peaked, and there was a Privateer Press insider about the event. You could probably go back and look on the PP site on there, like the news page or something. But yeah, I think it went over 160 players, so it was by far the biggest.
The last one was within 10 people of 200. The last Welsh was really gigantic.
Yeah, it was massive, and it's always been a big single Masters event, it's a solo event, and obviously there's some tweaks to the format to make sure that there is one undisputed champion at the end. There have been a few irregularities where there's so many players and we've got to fit so many games in over a Saturday and Sunday, and there's been various debates about whether the games start on Friday instead, or there's 5 rounds on the Saturday or something, just grueling. Martin settled on there's basically a cut after the first day. So tomorrow, Friday, will be registration, and basically people will start arriving in Cardiff from whenever they can get there. There's 3 games at Firestorm Games' new venue in Fairwater in Cardiff, which looks beautiful. I've not been there yet, so I'm super looking forward to that. And I think it's split between 2 different floors, but it's all basically, I say floors. The top floor is basically a humongous mezzanine, so it's really open and airy. It looks lush, and yeah, the actual games themselves then will start on Saturday. So we'll do, I think it's 4 games.
That's
on Saturday.
Good point. I'm not planning on setting foot in there until Saturday. I might have to message Martin something.
You can do registration on Saturday morning, but registration starts on Friday.
That's perfect.
But yeah, so the way it works is there's 4 games on the Saturday, and at that point there's a cut, and the top X amount of players go through to essentially the last 3 rounds, and one of those will be the winner, and everyone else basically continues to play. There's strength of schedule, there's placements, and as you lose, if you're one of the top 16 or whatever it is, you get basically fed back into the greater pool. So that means that's the one way to mean that there's one winner at the end, but there has twice been someone left at the end who didn't make the cut but was still undefeated. But that's just how it goes, right? So if you want to win it, you've got to do well on day one, as well as just it's not just based on winning all your matches. Win them with a plume. And yes, that's be pretty cool. So I say registration is tomorrow. I think it'll open about lunchtime. I think there's various incentives to register early. So the first 50 players that register, which means putting down their team that they play with, you get a dodge for your teammates for the first 2 rounds, so you don't get to so you can basically go, oh cool, I'm not going to play against my
Oh,
local
nice.
mates, which is a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah, I know it's you can actually set up. You can put your team down on tiebreak. I know Roses have already done that.
Yeah, I think you're like the only way is Essex Warmachine or something, or the Londoners. But yeah, so you gotta submit 2 copies of your list. You get to keep one. So list will be submitted tomorrow, but it'll be submitted in paper. Maybe we'll get to get pictures of. But it's a lot. It's like 90. I think we're on 94 players. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I could take pictures, but if marketing would allow it, so we'll see. But definitely by the end of the weekend, we should be able to take pictures and report on the top X players. But yeah, so the other incentive is first 50 players get something extra. So there's always a really cool amount of swag from the Welsh Masters. Martin has previously given away an entire army every round. So
bloody hell!
So just every round, he just picks one of the players at random out of a hat and goes, "Congratulations, you've won whatever." And it's like an all-in-one army box plus some beasts and some stuff. It's it's really, really good. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull off such a ginormous effect this year, but all kudos to him if he can. But as well as that, there's basically an army gets given away every single round previously, and there's also a raffle for huge amount of stuff. The one year I was on target, I think, for most VPs, and I was crushing it. It wasn't going to win, but I was doing really well. Get the most VPs because there's various mini prizes and stuff you get.
Yeah. He's already posted up some of the mini prizes, exactly, some really cool artwork.
I fucked up, and it was back in Mark 2. I fucked up killing Karchev 1 with all his jacks with my Lilith 2 list, and just basically just derped. There's the last round.
I know how the times have changed. Yeah. Karchev won't cause you any problems this year.
Yeah, but it's last round of the entire tournament, and I forgot to activate my Blightbringer and do his shot before I activated all my War Spears. So they all went in.
Oh no!
And 2 less damage and left Karchev on 4 boxes, and I'm okay, right. So that would have been at least 12 more damage.
But that's crushing. That is absolutely crushing.
So I didn't get most APs, VPs, however you got victory points, army points, however you rate it. But it bumped me down to one of the random spot prizes, so I got a free ticket for the next year. And I was like, that's a good consolation prize. And I also then won in the raffle a Celestial Fulcrum, a set of terrain trenches, and then about 4 different blister packs of different models as well. I was I came home with probably 200 quid's worth of free stuff. I was cool.
It's fantastic. So I mean, for me, Welsh. The only time I've been, the previous one was just amazing. I'd never been to a Warmachine event that size, and it was just incredible to see. 200 people, most of which had the decency to shower, all packed into Firestorm and throwing dice at each other. It was really amazing to see. And then and of course that was well, I suppose we'll get onto it when we look at the factions, but
we'll see. We will see in a minute.
Again, how the times have changed. You're going to love this because that was the rise of Tharn.
Yes, well, we'll go. And hi, Piotr. Thanks for joining us from Moment of Clarity, buddy. It's cool. So let's jump into the stats then. Let's have a little look. So we have a certain amount of stats we can look at. As I said, lists aren't being submitted till tomorrow, but we can basically look at what factions people are representing. Martin's very much asked everyone to make sure they're putting their teams in, so you get those dodges, you get the your faction, because he wants to do minimal admin when he's there, right? So he wants to be able to go. This is and every year, amongst the various swag, there will be a best in faction prize for everyone. There'll be obviously first, second, and third will get something significant, trophy wise, and an actual prize wise, and then there's sort of custom made sort of Warmachine themed art for the first 10 places as well, which are all done. So
that's nice.
It's whatever number, and then a character or some sort of scene from Warmachine as part of it, which is all really
just a quick check. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
And then, as well as that, then there'll be various things like there'll be most CPs and Bloodiest General, the other two big ones. Fastest caster kill is another one, which is a clock with a picture of Iris in it, just to like harken back to the scary days when Iris was everywhere in Mark II, and if you got shot by Iris, it meant you were gonna die imminently.
But that's it. All your everything that protected you is gone. You're dead.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Just...
So yeah, and there's all these prizes. I wouldn't be surprised if there's spot prizes galore for anything. So yeah, so it'd be super interesting to see how it all pans out. And I think after the event's wrapped up, obviously we'll try and get the winners or the top X amount, however we can grab, to come and kind of have a chat on the show, and then probably have a little look at some of the lists and stuff like that as well.
Definitely. I mean, that's going to be a lot of or a lot of hints as to what we're going to start seeing in WTC. This is the first really big event post COVID.
I think, and this is very much an international event, so it's not just UK. We've got players from all around the UK. So we've got I'm pretty sure we've got some. We must have someone from Ireland coming across. So the Irish lads normally come in force. I don't think they are in force for this one, which is a shame. But there's definitely Scottish, Welsh, English. Obviously, there's a couple of South Africans. There's Belgians. There's I think we've got Germans, Lithuanians, Polish. I'm scrolling down the list, looking. Yeah, there's a good spread. Obviously, there's a lot of British players because it's home turf, right? So it's easy for us. And
they've told us that we're getting the Belgians in.
Yeah, there's plenty of Belgians. Yeah, Wout's there, Lawrence is there. There's definitely some big names that I recognise from WTC. So that'd be really cool to see what pans out. Who's likely gonna crush some dreams. But let's start with looking at with the factions, and then we'll talk about what kind of things we're gonna predict to see, and then we'll follow on, have a look at the player list as well, because it'll be just a bit of fun to see who we think can
jumps out
the top 10 something out. So it's no surprise on the very top. So there's I think it's 94 players we've got booked, and it's
something like that.
I'm not going to bother doing the maths, but 14.
No, I'm certainly
14
not.
circle players.
14 circle players and circle. So it's fascinating because the top or the most represented faction last time was also Circle, with the rise of Tharn everywhere.
Yes.
So Tharn got nerfed, and now Circle players have just had to settle for Secret Masters.
They just have to basically wind it back a little bit to the previous Masters, and they're just.
But Circle players are troopers. They just keep making a plan with all of the suffering they endure.
And what faction are you now playing, Evan? It's very
it may or may not be Circle potential. Yes, yeah.
May or may not. So we're going to quickly go through a rundown of the number of players per faction, and then we'll just to give you guys that are listening a bit of an overview, so you can see how everyone's comparing, and then we'll start talking about lists. So we'll start off with, like I said, with Circle are right at the top with 14 players. Legion are behind them only by a few. Legion are 11 players.
I'm honestly a little surprised Legion isn't more represented than Circle. I think Circle have some very strong things. Circle don't have. I don't think Circle have quite the variety of casters that are viable that Legion do. I would have expected Legion ahead.
I think you need the variety. We've got such strength, with power 29 heavies before you put a caster in.
Oh.
I'm not bitter, but But anyway, next is a little jump down to 8 players, and that's Kador and Trollbloods, both the same.
Nice to see Kador doing well. They've been out in the cold for a long time, and nice to see them.
Oh, out in the cold. That's very thematic. They're out in the cold. I'm not sure if you meant to do that.
Yes.
Jumping down again. So
accidental puns on my theme of the night.
So next with 7 players, Signar, Crix, and Retribution, all with 7. So we've got that first jump. So 14 Circle, 11 Legion, and then we're basically down All the rest of the factions have just got like a point
The
or
mid,
two between
the
them.
mid tiers.
This is everybody else. So Signar, Crix, Retribution at 7. Minions and Grimkin at 6 players. Mercenaries and Crucible
I
Guards
am
at 5. So
I
5
am
mercenaries.
surprised at Minion solo. I am really surprised.
Yeah, but no, you can't really take the minions number as it is, because all those minion players could be troll players, and all the troll players could be minion players. They could be playing exactly the same
I suppose
stuff.
it's true.
So it's a bit of a...
So do we just call it Trolls Minion at 14 and they're tied up with Circle? I think maybe we do that.
I think there'll be some purists that will just be playing actual trolls and actual minions, but I think that'll be the rarity. So we jump down to 5 players, which was Mercenaries and Crucible Guard, 4 Scorn players, only 2 Infernals and 2 Menoth players, and 1 Convergence player. Oh. And if the Convergence player is who I think it is, I think they've had to bow out, which might mean that Convergence might be the only faction that isn't represented, which is pretty good spread-wise. But there's definitely Convergence players out there. I guess it's just like whether or not they go, but these new things I've got to play with in other factions.
I think I think the same as we were discussing with Ben previously, that any Convergence players kind of know they should be playing Aurora and they may as well play Mercs.
Maybe, but there's not a lot of Mercs either. But UK's never had a huge amount of Mercs. So we'll see. I know.
You mean Convergence?
No. So just Merc players. So obviously, if you're playing Aurora, and if you want to play Aurora with something, you probably want to play her with Osram, which means you have to actually have Merc
exactly.
Models. And some people just don't want to buy into another side faction basically to do it, which is fair.
Mercs have always been a difficult one to be a side faction because they're not one side faction; they're like 5 sub factions.
There's so many factions to buy.
So, which means you don't do it as a side faction. You either go in, both feet or not at all.
Although you say that, I literally had just an Osram list and a smattering other things when I was playing with them with Aurora.
I suppose old Dwayne in SA is the same story. He's just keeps on banging the drum of Cephalix, and he's not interested in dwarves.
I do like Cephalix. I find like the creepy aesthetic. It reminds me of like one of the old White Wolf werewolf band guys who are like these weird subterranean like horror race of experimental weirdos.
They are very cool. Yeah, they have a lot going for them. Well, aesthetically anyway.
Yeah, but spread wise, that's pretty good. There's
not bad at all.
A little bit of a spike at the top, but not much, and then a real sort of ombre effect of everyone.
No, it's a good spread of factions, and I think so. It goes again to what people have been saying for quite a while now. It's just that, in terms of interfaction balance, the game's in a good state.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you look at it and go, right, this someone's playing everything pretty much. Like the Convergence might be there, might not be there. I'm not sure yet. But it's a good spot to say this is a good indicator of how balanced the game is. And obviously, there's a lot of players will have multiple factions to choose from. That's always going to come into it. It's not just the strength of the faction; it's also some people want to just play their stuff that's already painted. Some want to play it because it's the aesthetic and it's like the feel they love particularly. Some might have been playing Haley 3 for 20 years and want to play any of their other factions. Please God,
just anything else.
Yeah, anything else. But yeah, so let's have a little look from the bottom up, I would say.
Okay, that's more interesting. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It would be a bit easier, right, to write off the bottom ones and cause some controversy. But so Convergence at the bottom, like you said, we're both, I think, in like mind that Aurora's still got game.
It's Aurora.
It's not as oppressive as it was. Like the threat range isn't as bad, and the fact that they can't just ignore blast damage and just be immune to like a Gunny 2 list, for instance, just go right, cool, I can just hang out.
I think there's a world in which that gets paired with Iron Mother now.
Iron Mother?
Yeah, she can put out some pretty scary shooting
Evan's had sunstroke.
Have I had sunstroke? You're not a fan of Mommy.
I don't think this. No, I looked at her. I know like the Convergence player on the Welsh team looked at her, and we tried out various combos, and I think
So what's the answer then, Orion?
So I think there's an Orion list if you want to, but obviously doesn't really want to see Kruger, which means that you probably don't want to play Orion. I think there's too much stuff that's that.
I don't think you can play Axis.
I think Axis, Lucant, and Locke are the best core of the non.
I don't think you can play Axis in the world in the strength values we see nowadays.
Maybe, but it's less about defending yourself and more about killing stuff so it can't hit you back.
Beating the other shit to death. Yeah, maybe.
Just getting your stuff up there, smashing them, but I don't think he's the best. I think the best is probably Aurora and Locke. That's my take. I've seen some
Locke is interesting. I don't know what would that Locke list look like.
I'll tell you in November.
Right.
I think.
We got secret tech here.
No. Locke's got this ridiculous ability to basically run or to just put her jacks up as far as possible, get all their output, and then cast engine destruction, and then start jackhammering with things like inverters and prime axioms, and when a prime axiom with red line runs up the middle of your army. It's gonna kill the fuck out of whatever it's going for. And obviously they'll be like Mat 9, because they all just take their Mat and Rat
because of red line.
Lock,
I mean, not red line. Lock,
engine. Lock and engine destruction. So it's pretty brutal. Like if a prime axiom wanders up, shoots and just shoots, right? So just shoots its miniguns and then shoots its 2 tow cables. Obviously you take a few bits of things to help you. You can take like a little beacon lights and stuff like that. And it's like, well, if they land those drag shots successfully, that's 2 heavies dead.
Easily.
And then obviously, and when you kill a heavy, that means that the other heavies in the list get to road to war forward, which means that they probably threaten to jump onto another heavy. It adds up. That's my take. So that's I think where convergence are at the moment. There's good.
I think it's viable.
There's decent Lucan lists that are just like obnoxious amount of bodies, recurring bodies with huge armor sort of values, which is like a good scenario game there, and just playing like a denial and scenario game. Rather than going, I can't kill this model, that's fine. I can just put these medium-based dudes in front. They'll kill them, that's fine. I would literally just bring them back next turn, and everyone walks forward a little bit. Just bit by bit, you win on scenario. A bit like the Madrax 3 list, I guess, but but recursion rather than crazy tough. But definitely, I think a game there. Menoth at 2. So is this a shock?
Oh.
Is this a shock? And I'll add, one of those Menoth players is the captain of my WTC team, and he is thinking about playing Kador instead this weekend. So it may be one. He's on the fence, but I think he'll stick with Menoth.
So is this going to be Warriors of the Old Faith and just take Kador models?
Generally, or Matt in particular. No, if it's Matt, he will literally. If it's Matt, my captain, he'll just play proper Kador. So he'll probably play like Karchev and Zakova or one of those.
Okay. So if he wants to play Kador, he'll play actual Kador. He's not going.
Yeah, but I think he'll play.
He's not going to take Krios 3 and all the Ulans.
I think those days are gone. Yeah, I think it's. But we'll come back to the Kador stuff when we get to them because they're obviously way up. So the popular things, I think we'll see. Obviously, there's only 2 to choose from. I think we'll see Fiora.
I think Sarenia is still in it.
I think Sarenia is really good still. And I think
she's still just an obnoxious wall that walks up the table.
Yeah, I think people
are sick of it.
Have sort of just put it down, and it might be just because they played it so many times, like with the Sarenia Harvey pairing. But I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Sarenia. I still think she's a really good caster. But I think we'll see.
I would expect to see her as I would expect to see Sarenia as sort of the the take-all-comers pairing for whatever the player actually wants to play.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think we'll see the Fioras, a variety of Fioras.
Yeah.
3 and 4, and Malachus, maybe Sevi, but I think less of him. And yeah, as Andy said in the chat, yeah, Heart of Darkness might be the best man off at the moment. Yeah, because
and it may be the best Infernals.
Yeah. This I think yeah, we probably touched enough on men off. There's only 2 players, and there's only 2 Infernal players. And
sorry guys, that's all the time you get.
I'm pretty sure the Infernal players will be Zil. So he has been playing Zataroth and Fiora 3. So the people that were involved in the discussion on the chats earlier, saying will it just be Hearts of Darkness? It won't be Hearts of Darkness. There is still room.
There is still actual. There is still Dark Legacy Infernals playing Infernals.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, I mean, it's impossible to write off Zataroth just because if you just looked at her on her own, she's probably the strongest single card of a caster in the game. It's just her spell list and her abilities are unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing keeping her honest is the fact that she's in Infernals.
Yeah, and just answering Piotr. Sorry, so there's no published list yet. Submission is tomorrow. This is just what we're expecting to see out of the factions, basically. But yeah, we've got the stats for the numbers, but that's as far as we've got so far, and then we'll see. Yeah. I think by the end of the weekend, hopefully, we'll be able to say these are the top 10 lists or the top 20 lists or something.
So for anyone who's joining late, or if we just did a shitty job of communicating, we're sort of speculating at what we expect to see out of these factions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so that was just a starting to touch on Infernal. So yeah, there's definitely going to be that split between Hearts of Darkness and Dark Legacy. I'm trying to think who the other Infernals player is. I'm not
sure. I'm hoping we see
every player's got their faction down. Let's quickly look. So Zil is indeed one of them who is playing for England Roses. And my scrolling is failing, am I? Let's have a look. It'd be great if I could just click on it and it just put them in order, but it does not. Right, okay. Padge, Ridge Padgett. So one of the stockport sort of one of the guys that buy Element Games is the other Infernals players who's an old Mark II player who's come back. Used to do decently well, I believe.
That's good. I'm really hoping to see someone pull out Amodamas with the Howlers. Because the Howler buff was quite an interesting thing.
I know Zil's Fiora 3 list has Howlers in it as well. So it's got Howlers, it's got Grievous Swarms, it's got a good mix of stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure what Padge is playing. He was playing Odamus for sure, and I know he was definitely looking at a bunch of the Hearts of Darkness things. So I would be surprised if that's an Omo and Kador Infernals pairing. And then Zataroth and Fiora 3 as the other Infernals player. That's my prediction. Right. Let's see at the end of the weekend.
Sylvanus, I think you've got 100%. That's what he's been practicing. It's right up there.
Right, so we've got a little bit of jump up to 4 players with Scorn. So that's cool. Scorn, obviously, aren't such a dominant factor as when Zaltu was trashing the meta. But yeah, like we've just had Matt McWater's joined us for one of the previous episodes
about a month ago.
Having taken down Adepticon, so there's definitely room there to show that Scorn are going to do a good job.
We don't have a lot of Scorn certainly in my meta down south.
I've got no Scorn near me either.
And I really believe that Makeda Zero has completely opened up what Scorn list building. So I think we're going to catch a couple of rude surprises from these Scorn players.
Yeah. I'm such a bad person. I've just said there's no Scorn. There is Scorn, like literally. One of the guys that comes very infrequently to our club, but comes most times when we play at Sanctuary on Fridays is Dom, and yeah. So so there's the Scorn players are Benoit from the Belgians. So that'll be nice to see. And there's definitely this dark horse faction right at the moment where they aren't everywhere. So we'll see. Gav Rofe, who's one of my locals. Gav Beckett from up in York. The Epic Flail team have come back together. If you ever used to play in Mark II. I was gonna make a comment about Zimmer frames and stuff, but I'm picking up some reading classes tomorrow, so I'm in no fucking place to judge people by their age. And then Max, who's one of the Welsh players. So yeah, Dave's in the chat saying Benoit's got some interesting lists. You'll see them at the Welsh Masters, which was I think just like last month. A good warm up event for the Welsh for sure. I'd love to go over to the Belgian Masters. They're proper like.
I think
good group.
if you hunt down somewhere, I think on the Carespawn YouTube, you should see some of the newer ideas from Scorn of Benoit beating the hell out of me with Xerxes with 19-inch threat cats.
Oh yeah, that was the game where you killed half the cats on turn one, but
I killed half the cats on turn one, and then decided that tanking Xerxes would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
Definitely a scary amount of damage from what looks like on paper. It doesn't hit that much, and then
no, on paper it looks terrifying. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I know exactly what I was thinking. I thought 10 inches was 12.
Well,
there are so many jokes of just waiting in the wings there.
But yeah, Dom's agreeing there. We should do Belgian Masters next year. That'd be one for the calendar. That'd be a good one. But yeah, Scorn I think I think as long as the Scorn player isn't like hung up on playing Zartu, because some are. I think there's a lot more to the faction than
I think his flag has waned. I think they're better options now.
Yeah, I think obviously we saw I think Matt played Jalam and Makeda 2. I think there's good games for the Xerxes 1 as we saw versus you on like a war table game.
Max 2 is always good, and
Rasheth still is like a very solid caster with a load of tools.
Rasheth's a little bit like Denny 1. He will never be a bad pick.
Yeah. So I think
never ever be a bad pick.
So I think Scorn will have like a really broad like selection of casters. I don't think we'll see like the same lists, or even if it's the same casters.
I'm looking forward to seeing what people pull out of the hat for Scorn.
Yeah.
I think it's wide open, and with only 4 players, we could see a lot of variety.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if out of 4 players we saw 6, maybe more casters out of that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Super cool, like show like the internal balance in a faction. So the next one is a faction that like North America has been spewing about how they're like super dominant and they're one of the scariest factions, and it's Crucible Guard. So only 5 players.
Right.
So obviously this was questioned in the chat we had earlier on Facebook, and I think a big chunk of that is there's never been a lot of Crucible Guard models in the UK. So I know out of the 5 players, I know one of them is borrowing. Tom's going to praise the Lord. Thank fuck there's not a lot of just if you want your trains, go to your hobby store instead, and don't bring them to our Warmachine tables. Not because they're not cool, but just because they're fucking horrific. They're really strong.
Buy a Prime Axiom and strap it to a wheelchair.
I think that's one of the things that dictates why we aren't seeing that many. It's just because there's not many in the country. So Ryan, who's the England Lions captain, will be rocking up with. I think Ryan's the captain. You should know this, right? You're an England player.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So he's played Crucible Guard. We've got a couple of the pseudo Welsh players playing Crucible Guard. So and then a couple of others I don't necessarily know. Tom Wiggins from up Merseyside way. And I'm trying to think where the last one was. Elliot was one of the pseudo Welsh players. Nathan is one of the Welsh players.
I've got
Daniel Robson.
I'm just heading through here.
Welsh.
So yeah, Daniel Robson, Elliot Guess,
Nathan,
Nathan, Ryan Wilmot, obviously, and Tom Wigan.
Yeah, obviously Ryan.
Yeah. Well, we already talked about Ryan. I mean, hence.
Yeah. So Ryan's been doing really well in just every event recently, hasn't he? He's been pretty good. Him and Dina are trying to show their colours off, which is cool. But yeah, I think
Ryan's been a very different man since he put his men off down.
Yeah.
Like the sun's come out again.
What will we see though out of Chris Regard? Because I alluded to the fact that I thought I had a bit of an inside beat, and what I said at the start about there being not a lot of Chris Regard minis in the country, I think is going to dictate a little bit what we see.
Dictate it.
Yeah.
You think there aren't going to be enough assault troopers and failed experiments to run Gearhart?
Yes. Well, I think people will be running Gearhart, but they won't be as oppressive because, like, I know at least one of those players only has access to one unit of assault troopers and hasn't been able to get the extra units he wants.
That's fair.
And I know one of the other players has played the double failed experiments and some assault troopers, and has sort of waned away from it because it's not that fun to play.
Like
which I wouldn't be. I assume Ryan will be playing like the most.
I'm assuming Ryan's going to be playing Lucas Gearhart.
Just try hard, right? these England Lions.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he wasn't. But hey, I've been wrong before.
But yeah, I think yeah, some of the players will be able to predict the casters easily.
I expect to see Lucas as a common theme, even if people are branching out for the other one. If people aren't playing Gearhart, more than likely, I expect to see you guys falling back on Silvestro.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see at least 2 or 3 of them will be Lucas Gearhart. Maybe one of the others will be a split between one of those two and Silvestro, and I think someone's going to be playing Rocketmen, and someone will bring.
I don't know about Rocketmen.
No,
but there's always the one in the tank.
McKay. Yeah, I think we're more likely to see say Bennett playing just as a bit of more of a less oppressive but more fun.
I think you're always going to see one person who just wants to play the caster in a massive tank.
Maybe.
Like it's appealing. I can't fault it.
That means having to have 3 trains probably though, and that's a big ask with how things how the trickle of Crucible Guard has been. So we'll see. We'll find out.
The last time I saw that list, it was 5. It was 5 huge bases, but that was always on War Table.
Oh dear, yeah, that's juicy. So we'll see. We'll see. So the next one, Mercenaries, again at 5 players. This is so Dave Davis is in the chat. He's one of the Merc players. And obviously Sean is one of the UK. Like he's a bit of a showman. He loves to declare himself as the king of roll. He's all about the dwarves. Dave I think is more likely to play around with lists. I think a lot of the Merc players kind of like have their 1 or 2 sub themes that they like inside the faction, and that's what they kind of go like gravitate towards.
I saw Dave chatting about
double
Ashland a while ago. Ashland a while ago. I don't know if Ashland is a bad drop, but yeah,
I think Ashland 2 and Ostrom probably the strongest pair. I think, or very much a contender for strongest pair for Mercs to see the weekend.
I still think Fiona's just a better Ashland.
Fiona, maybe. I don't know. No, Ashland now is really good. I think.
Yeah,
and I think
Fiona,
there's
nothing wrong with her.
I think Fiona still has game. That's not to write her off at all. But we'll see. Is who's playing? Let's have a quick a quick nose through Tom
Take
Andrews,
a quick run through mercenaries.
Sean's a Merc player, as we know. Nick Cox, not one I recognise. He doesn't have a club, so it's harder to pin down where he's from.
Yeah. Tom Andrews.
Jay, who's like one of the guys down south. Is Tom Andrews one of the Fish Squad guys? Maybe. And then the very, very, very lovely Dave Ricketts. Dave.
Yes.
Thanks for lending me models this weekend. So I've still not been able to get. I've got Eterne and I've got fucking mechanic units on order and stuff, and executioners. I'm still waiting for them to come into the UK.
I mean, the great Eterne shortage is just
it's never ending, and I think
it's a blessing for the entire country. This whole island thanks you.
I almost changed my list to have 3 Eterne earlier, and I went, "There's no fucking way I can find a 3rd Eterne to borrow." So just bin the list and just start again. So yeah. But yeah, I think we'll just see like a good spread for Mercs. I think there's so much fun and good stuff to choose from that I think it's hard to nail down. But yeah, I would definitely not be surprised if we saw more Osram than anyone else. I think Osram is in a real good spot in a world where I think gun lines are definitely back. Osram brings a good gun line, a hell of a good gun line.
Yeah,
I'll see. We don't have any Merc players near me anymore. I think one of the guys who got really ill with COVID sort of has
moment of clarity. Just said he played against 4 Eternai last weekend. I'm so sorry. I feel your pain.
4 Eternai, that'd be like winning the lottery, having access to 4 Eternai. I think amongst the I think there's like 3 WTC rep players in the UK, like between me and the England teams. 4 of us, I think. And I think there's only like 4 Eternai between all of us. It's gonna be real rough come winter if things haven't changed. Anyway, Grimkin are next with 6 players. So about kind of hitting the middle of the table. And I kind of think that Grimkin are in an okay spot. Like they've got options into a bunch of stuff.
I think it's also a bit open now. Like I think Dreamer's back on top. There are lots of people who seem desperate to play the child and her house for reasons I'll never understand.
Because people just like to play what looks cool, right?
Man, Skin and Moans looks cool. You don't need the house.
Yeah. Maybe stick it on the side, like you used to have like a dugout and some cheerleaders in Blood Bowl. You just stick the house on the side next to the clock, just as stick a flag in one of its gnarly hands.
Make a little flipboard on the windows and use that to count your control points or something.
Seems okay, but yeah, the Archons, as Piotr from McLaren said, are still awesome.
I mean, I expect to see 2 in every list.
Yeah, basically, they're just super cool. List wise, though, I think we'll definitely see plenty of Dreamer. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bunch of Old Witch, just because people will be trying to mitigate the gun lines, and
that's possible.
And do you want to mitigate a gun line by bringing in King of Nothing when there's so much access to Isle of Sight and True Sight?
I mean, I've always liked the brick as an answer to a gun line. If you've got 2 Crabbits, you hit each Crabbit, beginning of turn 1.
Yeah.
And sure, try to shoot me out. I will trigger sacrifice unless you've got range Grievous. Your gun lines are really going to suffer.
I think most gun lines will suffer. I was literally thinking about this earlier, going, "Oh, cool. If I play that, it's fine. You just shoot the Crabbits first, because some of us bring guns that can shoot through other people." Anyway,
yes.
There
is that
the aforementioned Eterne. But yeah, I think the Dream Brick is good. You stick your Skin and Moans up front in an Artificer Deviation, even if there's nothing good on the middle of the table. And like you said, you soften up the Crabbits yourself. So as soon as stuff starts to get dicey, a Crabbit's going to take the next shot and die, and then everyone's fine. And you go, cool.
It's all good.
How many significant gunshots have you got into your turn by the time that you've healed my entire army? If it's over half, then you're fucked. If it's under half, then you might be right.
And then my Armour 2021 army is going to be in your face.
So
I've never been scared of a gun line with Grimkin.
Yeah. Will we see Dreadrot spam? Because obviously the Americans and the Canadians had it. I definitely know there's definitely someone going to be playing Dreadrot spam because I'm lending someone 30 Dreadrots. And
nice. Look, I keep hoping to see like 20 and then one of the other more interesting pieces of infantry. I like the Murder Crows, etc. It's not as efficient as just going 30 Dreadrots, but it's way more interesting.
Yeah. I think we'll see a couple of Dreadrot lists there. I know various people have been collecting them. You might actually see real Dreadrots, but don't know.
Hey, cool.
Not as good as mine, I'm just saying. But
don't you have 10 Dreadrots for me?
No.
No.
No. So our 3D guru, who was going to them, if you remember, got really ill with COVID. And we were going to make you some when he got better, and he's not actually been back to club since.
Shame. Okay, all the best to him.
He started to feel a bit better, but he's just been really careful because he put him in hospital for like a good while, and he's been really ill since. So he's just been
take care.
Careful, like step back. At some point we'll see it. But we'll be interested to see Grimkin. I think we'll see a lot of Dreamer, and then we'll see a bit of everyone else in Bump. I guess you might be right. There might be a child player out there bringing some big houses just because they look cool.
Just because you bought a pretty house and you want to put it on the table.
Yeah.
I definitely respect that choice.
Yeah, and obviously you've still got the same choice that we just discussed, right? Where you stick your crab behind it, and it's like, well, if you're shooting it to death, then all it takes is one errant shot into a deranged bunny, and it's now fully healed. And it's like, oh, cool. Unfortunately, that's the only way to heal it, apart from its own crappy mechanic in the faction. But never mind. Anyway, that's why I'm not playing Grimkin right now. Yeah. Minions.
Finally, same here.
Minions is next. So we touched on this earlier. The minions number is like deceptive because of the 6 minion players and the 8 troll players, they could all be playing like Mandrak 3, Gunny 2 as minions. They could all be playing Rask and Colgrimmer as minions or trolls. So you kind of, we won't really actually know how many minions players there are and how many trolls players there are until the weekend, I'd say. And even then,
Rask doesn't work particularly
It's like a polyamorous relationship, right? They're all fucking each other. Pigs and gators and trolls. They're all like...
And it's basically why they all look so inbred anyway.
Yeah. And so there you go. So who can say pig bloods and troll gators, it's all one faction. So yeah, we'll see. I think the things that we will see from the minion side, I think we'll always see Rask.
Rask is evergreen.
Yeah, you'll always see Rask. I think you'll always dip in and out of Maylock. Maylock's a decent call, I think.
I've seen some very interesting things with Maylock where people aren't going like the massive gator spam.
Yeah.
And they're doing some interesting things.
Yeah. And then obviously there's the troll side. Azazello, I think Azazello and Helga 2, I think are really fun and really cool.
Azazello had his day, and I haven't seen anyone pulling him out for ages.
Yeah, he lost like the one thing on his card that he never cast. Don't play him anymore. Must be shit. No, I wouldn't be surprised if we still see a bit of... Yeah, see Piotr's with me. Yeah, see Helga too, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of Helga too.
Yeah.
Bit of Azazello, but more likely see Rask. I think you always see the random Arcadius player as well, who's kind of terrify people who've never seen them.
If I was a minion player, Helga 2 would be my sort of house moment. I actually don't care what the rules are like.
She's really good. She's really good.
She's really good, but even if she was shit, she's a pig lady on a pig lady biker.
Yeah, she
on a little motorbike. I love everything about that model. I would go out of my way to play that.
Yeah, she is literally like Miss Piggy from the Muppets, clad in leather, ready to come and wreck your day. And she's brought a frog hermit proxy with her, Just gonna like just
There is nothing about that description that isn't full of just pure win.
yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, just imagine the squeal of it. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see how it works out. But yeah, and obviously, like I said, yeah, there's the option that they've also brought Gunny 2 or Madrak or Colgrimmer or any house of the good troll options. And that's the thing. I think there's so many good options for minions and trolls that we could probably see all all 14 minion troll players will be playing something different. I think maybe like a handful might be playing the same pair.
Do you really reckon there are that many options within trolls?
Yeah, I mean,
so. we've got the Gunny Maddie,
Gunny, Maddie, Colgrimmer, Baker,
and obviously Grandma. Baker, yeah. I haven't seen much Baker.
Well, if you hit one of Baker's guys and you've brought, for instance, say like a bunch of heavies with ridiculous armor, one hit and you're stationary, and then his heavies.
I know that hurts.
Apart,
that's really painful.
So
that feat is unpleasant.
So that's a potential good counter into Karchev. That might be something people look at.
That's interesting. Okay.
And then
feet into the robot's face. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's various other things that we've seen, like Ragnar's really, really, really chunky to get through, and they get to obviously dip as well into across the fence as well into the minions casters. So that's what I mean. There's probably like a good dozen casters between them that they will go
between the two factions.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You go. There's 14 players. Like maybe 3 or 4 might have stuff. Calandra's good as well. Yeah, I know. Paul Sheard was playing Calandra at the Steamroller in Asgard games the other week.
Oh, there's a caster I don't miss facing.
So I think yeah, we'll see a really big spread between minions and trolls of what casters are on the table, which is cool. Next is next Retribution.
I did not miss that.
So there's 7 Retribution players, and let's move on, and you can find out on the weekend what they're playing. No. So Rhett have got a good bunch of casters to choose from, and obviously, if you look at like the North American circuit, you'll see Kalissa, Gorshade.
Yes.
And I think.
I mean, Assyria. I think the other casters that people are finding more exciting than Assyria, but I mean, she's also evergreen. She'll never be bad.
Yeah, she's always got a good game. And like if you're playing, for instance, into say a Lucas gunline list, and you can stop like 2 to 3 of their really important guns from being able to shoot every single turn, that's pretty sad for them. Same for Lilith 4. If you can tag Lilith 4 with blinding light, well, she's pretty sad. But
God, this would serve her right.
Yeah, but obviously the Kalissa lists, I think, are quite varied for what we're playing amongst the rep players I talk to. So there's 3 of the England team are playing rep. I'm playing rep for Wales. I think one of the Lawrence from the Belgian WT team is playing.
My captain's playing Ret.
And another one of your teammates is playing Ret as well. Yeah. And
we've got way too much Ret.
So I think that's what we'll see, but we'll also definitely see Falsia. I started playing her.
We will see Falsia,
and I think everyone but one of the guys in our Ret chat has now picked her up as well. Because turns out she is still really good.
Really? Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk? So there's a variety of. There definitely is a variety of builds with her. Like
I think she was a little bit like Beth too. That people who were enjoying her when she was stupidly broken needed like 2 months to calm down and reevaluate her.
To realise that she might actually be still really strong. Yeah.
Still be really, really good.
I think how you build her depends on what you've got as your other list. Dan Price is just telling us Falsia should be probably Def 16, on a card.
I mean, you know what? You're halfway there, Dan, and armor 12, and then we're good.
But the one thing on a card I don't agree with is right. So her fluff, right? She's Falsia the Merciless, and she's like the House Eloir mastermind tactician. Like she is like the the combat and tactical genius that looks at the table, looks at the landscape, and goes, right, this is why everyone can ready go now. Everyone's got prey. Let's go kill shit. She's got command of 6. Why has she got command 6? Can you tell me? Can you tell me why? Because
trade that for all of her movable bollocks. No, I'll be fine.
I like having my Fey Knight Guardian like 9 inches away from Kalissa going, cool, I'm still your friend, Kalissa, at armor 21. Except he's got to stay really close for Falsia, and she's like, not the same. But yeah, so I think you'll see her. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of Gary 2, where people are.
I was about to say Gary 2.
Especially
Gary 1. Gary 1 got quite a bit of love. I wonder if anyone's going to dip into that well.
He did, yeah. Gary 1 did. Thyron got a bit of love, you know. Thyron with his boosted attacks, sidestep, fury, and storm rager on his dudes coming in. It's like, yeah, they can hit like a mean brick, especially with the newer models, right? With if he takes the other House Elway stuff, because obviously he's done House Elway himself. So if he takes a couple of a turn A, it's basically self-sufficient. You only need to like take one mechanic. But you take Wardens, they start at power 15 with crits, amputate. Then they go in on feat turn with an executioner behind them, so they've got sidestep and cleave with their power 15s. That's fine, because obviously you put Fury on them, so they're power 18, and then Hermit is there, so they're power 20, cleaving with crit amputate, rolling 3 dice to hit. So they'll do some work.
That's enough to leave a mark, eh?
Yeah. And obviously the executioner who's there to give them the sidestep, well, he's probably got a Storm Rager, so he's already gone past them into the enemy, and he's got 2 attacks and sidestep and cleave and kill shot. So he's like there going. What's not to love? So
yeah.
I don't own a Thyron. I need to get a Thyron one still. If anyone's got a Thyron model, wants to send it to me, my address is PM me. But yeah, so I think that's the main classes we'll see.
I agree.
We'll see plenty of Kalissa and Gorshade. So if you are prepared,
I'm curious to see how many wave serpents I just call them wave serpents. How many tridents we're going to see?
I think a surprising amount. Wait, I'm going to stand up for a minute. I think, despite the fact that they were written off, just because you said it, I'm bringing out my one. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah. I think I'm only bringing one, but I know there's definitely a bunch of players I talk to who are taking 2 in one of the
taking double.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's bringing Assyria is probably going to bring 2.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of casters.
It works so well that way.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think
Shade 4 and Gary 2 can both run 2 quite comfortably.
Yeah. I don't think Shade will. No, I don't, because you can't hide things behind the clouds if you've got a huge base. They don't really synergize with the rest of the army that well.
Okay, yeah. I was just thinking he's got a damage buff for it, but fair enough.
Loads of them happening. I think you'll see it with Falsia and with Assyria. Maybe with Gary. But that's
I wouldn't expect to see 2 with Falsia, just 1.
Okay. I will not be surprised. Out of the 3 Falsia lists I've seen today, there's 5 tridents between.
Right.
So,
okay, that's then corrected.
And so yeah, we'll see. I had John Henry. What's that you saying, buddy? How things are looking? Less
that's right. Dan was saying in pairs.
Yeah, in pairs. I think some people play in pairs. I'm not, but I think, like I said, it depends on what your pair is, right? So I think my Falsia list is more skewed towards being melee. Others less so. Obviously, if you want more guns, well, Eternays and Tridents are pretty good guns. So let's move off Ret and go on to. I think this is probably the first. Obviously, we saw Crucible Guard, but this is the first of like the potential boogeyman factions that we'll see.
Yep.
Crix. So 7 Crix players, and I've got
I've
It'll,
had to eat my words. I thought the Cador Karcher was more scary, and I've come to respect the Crix one more.
yeah, there's just throwing the Karchev mod I've been painting.
I saw you were painting him up.
Yeah,
It's looking great.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's all painted. It just the axe was just black, and one of the guys was just like, "Oh, can you like help me out with doing something cool on the axe?" And it's like, what, like sort of like
Nice.
a glowy sort of power weapon style, or like non-metallic, and so I've kind of gone for a bit of both at the same time. And yeah, it's my first try at doing it. And obviously, it's already all assembled, which meant it was a bit of a ball ache to get like the angles on the airbrush to get stuff. But it's come out pretty well, and that's
So
good
Dave was
for me,
saying,
because that's what I
30
do.
Slayers, but so I played into like all this, all the melee jacks. I wasn't all that scared. What really frightens me is the Brad Park routes, where you're going to all the crab jacks and you're getting 3 shooty jacks, and
Yeah.
that makes a well-rounded list that is absolutely terrifying, backed up by a stupidly hard to kill Wraith engine, and it's just it throws itself into your face, and you're going to, especially if you're playing a faction with like living beasts, it's going to take you 2 to 3 beasts to chew through just the Wraith engine,
Yeah.
and then everything's in your face.
Yeah,
It
I
is
think,
so scary.
yeah, I know. Everyone's just hitting the ad
Yes.
break. Sorry about the ad breaks, but I should put it on. If you subscribe to me, you don't have to. You get to skip the ad breaks, by the way. So, but yeah, I think the Crix Karchev is I think much scarier. The one I just played this week was with a bunch of Mechanothralls and Brute Thralls. So you've got your basically jack wall with their guns, the Desecrators, who've got repair guys behind them. So you can't just plink them up. You can't soften them up on the way in, because behind them are mechanics, and in front of them
And they're also
lines
armor
of,
20 stupid against shooting anyway, because
but also you've got then you've got like say 6 shield guards. So anything significant damage wise, they take.
Oh wow,
And
we
then-
took 2 units. Okay, fine.
And then in front of the jacks, to stop you from landing heavies into them, are the Mechanothralls. And behind the Mechanothralls are the Necrosurgeons. So when you kill the Mechanothralls,
and if
they're
he
just gonna
wants
get
one of
readied,
those,
right?
and if he wants one of those, can even ambush, which is actually quite a good option when you're playing a jack list.
Yeah. I think it just depends on what he plays into. But yeah, I think it's really nasty. Like the having. Oh, thanks, Ablesil, for the
Hey,
subscribe. No more
Sable.
adverts. No more adverts. But yeah, having basically the really durable jacks versus shooting anyway, backed up by a load of shield guards, and then backed up by repairs as well, and then having a screen of models that recur in front of your guys to stop them getting hit in melee. Until
the big thing is he's not relying on melee. So if you back off, he's got 3 fully boostable high power guns just to kind of play the range games.
Yeah, 4 in this like.
Oh, is he playing 4?
Yeah, 4 that's great.
Yeah.
And also he can just throw his Mechanothralls and his Brute Thralls into you, and Brute Thralls go like power 19s. Well, that's fine, and that's the disposable element of the list. And guess what? He's paid no points for them, because 3 Brute Thralls is a rec option. So you basically you get a minimum unit of Mechanothralls who are just there to recur and be body blockers, and then
they're just there to enable the Brute Thralls, frankly.
Yeah, and then you get then you get your 3 free Brute Thralls to be either just punch,
shield guards,
big
punches, body block, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You got like this. Yeah, definitely a scarier list as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
than what Cador brings.
I think the Cador one is more of a gear check.
Yeah,
but in terms of
it's raw numbers. Right? So Cador is can you break this amount of boxes, this amount of armor? Tick yes or no.
And
Whereas,
if the answer is yes, then you're fine and you win.
and if
Like
the answer
there's
is
very
no,
little
then
game
stick
to
Hermit
it.
in your list and maybe put
Then you,
something heavier and yeah, and
yeah,
you
exactly.
can tweak and you can basically make a list that can deal with it. Whereas the Crix ones are, can you deal with either an incorporeal Wraith engine parked in front of you, or can you deal with all of these recurring dudes to get in the way? So when the crit shred fucking
It,
wall of armor gets
it's
to
an
you.
incorporeal, if you're living, armor 24 Wraith engine. Like
Mm.
it is not okay trying to deal with that.
Yeah, it's significant, right? But yeah. What else does Crix bring? Scar.
I mean,
Scar.
maybe they just get lazy and bring Scar 1,
I think they
or
understand doing
slightly
it.
less lazy and bring Denny 1.
So I've heard on like other casts and stuff, people talking about, well, Wormwood's okay because you can block the line of sight, so you're not going to see the stuff coming into you from the Karchev lists. They can't see you to charge you, which is cool. Good work there. So they have to just waddle in or run in. They've all got Pathfinder, both versions, so they don't care that much. But they can't get the charge, so they have to trample and then buy. But you can stranglehold stuff. So obviously, a stranglehold Jack is very sad Jack. But you know what Wormwood doesn't like? Like 10 stalkers just walking through a forest, jumping forward and killing all of her beasts because Scar one's feated on them and they've got flank with the whatever, the Statixis maybe, that just go, we'll have Pathfinder and run.
One unit of Statixis that runs 14 with 2 inch reach.
Yeah,
so.
they basically run just to engage your shit. Then a stalker goes in and goes, hi, I'm a stalker, you're a heavy, bye. You're dead. You know. And I guess you'll see other things. You might see Scar 3, you might see Coven. I think you definitely see Scavarus. Scavarus has got a good game, I think, to do a bunch of stuff.
I'd like to see Coven.
Yeah,
I've always got a soft spot for the Coven.
Yeah, the Coven. I just love the Coven, like conceptually, like the crazy, weird Orgoth infernal ball and a bunch of witches just doing so much shit. But yeah, I think that's what we'll see Karchev, as a big contender, Scar, and then we'll see a little bit of Scar 1, sorry, and then we'll see a little bit of Scar 3 because people like playing her and she's still good, and we'll see a little bit of Coven and a little bit of
and it's a Scavarus. Boat. I mean, who doesn't love putting a flying boat on a battlefield?
Got a boat, yeah, love it. What's not to love? So I think that is Crix. Stu Cargill, are you still in the chat? We're going to talk about Signar.
We're off to Signar.
If you reply in the next 10 seconds, we will. Otherwise, we'll skip them. Signar. Yeah, we will go. So there's 7 Signar players as well as Crix. So Rhett, Crix, and Signar, all 7 players. And I think Signar are kind of in a similar boat to how Trolls used to be, where there's just Signar players, right? So there used to be just Troll players, and no matter how bad the faction got, they'd still be a Troll player. And I think you've got a similar thing where,
and you just never had the same amount of sympathy for Signar players that you had for Troll players
because they had Haleys, right?
Because we still have a 7-year hangover from Haley 2.
Yeah. And then that's something we were talking about earlier. Actually, it was Haley 2, right? So if you bring either a bunch of Centurions to stick in the front of your army, or you bring Haley 2, or both, and that could probably be, as long as you bring enough punch, that's your answer to Karchev, right? You build your list around it, and you go, right, do I Slacko, Signal's still good? I think Signal's got a lot of tools that people aren't seeing. So Signal's become a bit of a dark horse, right?
I'm seeing Gravediggers coming back, and it's actually quite interesting.
Yeah.
Like the reduction in threat range on Death Archons has actually made quite a big difference.
Yeah, there's a lot less Archons on the field these days now, right? Of every flavour. I think Gwen makes Storm Division a lot more playable, as well as like the other tweaks to Storm Division. So I know like I played into a Haley 3 Storm Division list a couple of weeks ago at Steamroller, and Storm Knights with Flux and with Force Barrier are pretty like hard to remove.
I almost got handled by a by a Siege 2 Gravediggers last night. I
Yeah.
got completely caught off guard by all of the stuff that just piles onto that bloody Trencher Express team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get like 4 shots out of your express
You get
team. Sort of
you,
thing.
you get 3 boosted shots out of a 14-inch range gun that's got knockdown and Grievous on it. Like,
and then
wow.
then you shoot the other express team as well.
Yeah, then
It's
there's and then the long gunners just scalpel out whatever
Yeah.
system now that you're knocked
Yeah,
down
they've
and
definitely
Grievous.
got like some good ranged options. They can bring a gun line. Sloane's always going to be Sloane. I know Golly was playing around a little bit with Nemo 3 to work out whether he was worth, or looking at the other Nemos to work out if they're good into like the Karchevs. Maybe better into Krik's Karchev because you could just like e-leap through all the idiots in the way. So that's an option.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just being able to lock down a bunch of jacks. Yeah, with Haley too. Maybe it's her. She's back. Simply just going. Here's my armor. I brought Striker. Can your jacks actually break this armor? Or whatever you brought, and that's kind of an evergreen list as well, where it just sort of flexes.
I don't know.
I
think damage values have gotten too high for the Striker. I still see people trying to push it
for a circle.
Circle of the pillar-fisted faction. If we can do it, anyone can.
I genuinely think that a siege list can tank most stuff that people can put on the table. Smack Weasel, what a good name. Thanks for the follow, buddy. I think most factions are going to struggle into a proper striker arm skew, but not circle because like you're heavy. I know you're pillow fisted, but unfortunately your pillows are like
they got a couple rocks in there
with fucking nitrous powered rockets and knuckle dusters. Pillow fisted starts at like power 25, 26, and then you add your caster because you brought you bought a River Raider and you bought a Herbert and you brought a this
because of course you did,
and you Chuck and you brought and the Golem guys. Yeah, they're just overtuned them too much.
These are all true. These are all true things.
And unfortunately, when you can go, my heavy that cost 14 points is now hitting at power 29. They've gone a little bit too far.
And charging 16 inches across the table.
A little bit too far. So I think Striker's got a game into other stuff. But yeah, we definitely have to fucking dodge the circle better. Slack 011. Thanks for the follow too. But yeah, I think they've got a variety of stuff, and again a bit of a dark horse, like I said, because when is the last time you saw Haley 2, Haley 3? When's the last time you saw the Nemos?
I imagine there's a lot. Of Storm Division that I just haven't seen.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm playing Kruger too, so I never will see. But I imagine there are a lot of interesting lists that have cropped up now that Storm Division's got some love.
Yeah. I didn't know. I was like, who's this guy? I have no idea. If you were to take Signar this weekend, Gol, what would you play? So obviously, Golly's been on the England WCC team for many years.
Of course.
Been captain. Dom's in the chat. Yeah, Dom was literally saying in like our team chat.
Haley 3. I mean, my hatred of Haley 3 is pure jealousy. It just looks like one of the most fun casters in the game, and I'll just never get to play.
Yeah, Haley 3 Striker 1, and actually just play Haley 3 probably.
Just play Haley 3 most of the
6 of your games.
Yeah,
maybe you've got to play Striker once, but yeah.
I could see that. It would be interesting to see what version of Haley 3, whether you go Storm Division or whether you default to Gravediggers.
I think Gravediggers is still really good with it.
I mean,
Piotr, obviously another die-hard Signar player. We do Siege 1. I think Siege 1's still really good, yeah. And Striker 2.
Yeah, hard
Striker
to fault.
2, I'm assuming Striker 2 in Flames, just so you've got the ridiculous, just threat range and ability to go, you can't do this. These guys can hit you like
maybe be a purist and do something similar with what's his face with Siege 2. Play Siege 1, Siege 2.
I don't think he's as powerful though. Siege 1 definitely.
Nah, he isn't.
But yeah, that's definitely like a good little insight there into Signar. A bunch of Signar players in the chat. Stu, who was asking for Signar earlier, is just nowhere to be seen. So, screw you.
Well, thank you, Signar chat.
Around. But yeah, you can watch it back. But yeah, I think Signar are going to have a bit of a spread. So there's 7 players, and I'd be surprised if more than same as I said with the minions and trolls. I'd be surprised if more than like maybe 3 or 4 of them might have the same casters, and then the rest will like be a spread across factions. Factions, but different casters rather. So we'll see like Haley and a striker. We'll see some Siege and some Sloan. We'll see some Nemos. I think we'll see a bit of everything. Maybe Kane
3. That's spicy.
Yeah, K3. Well, K3 gunline. Gunlines are in. Bring a better gunline. Like
cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone came out with a Kaylee 1 gunline that was just like if they just full on tech and go, you wanted to bring a good gunline, I'll just bring a million more shots. Dan in the chat saying he's
Cray
Haley 1. So
Haley 1. That's Haley
going
1, back into the Wayback Machine.
Half an hour making your shots because that's how because that's going to be what it's going to be like. That'd be kind of cool. Right, so let's move on. We've given Signar enough, more than enough love, I think. So Troublers, obviously we kind of covered these guys already. We
covered them under minions. It's the same faction.
We kind of glossed over the minions, the Troublers side. So we'll talk about them a bit more, I guess. So Madrak 3, I think will be
okay. Cool. We've done trolls. Move on.
I think we'll see a lot of Madrak 3. And I think we'll see a lot of Madrak 3 in a lot of different flavors. I know in the UK.
Really? Yeah, I think we're going to see one flavor and one flavor only, which is just all the troll dudes. Everything else is really.
Yeah, they'll all have the troll dudes, but so John Henry's build I haven't seen apart from Dom, who's one of my locals. So most of the UK troll players are playing it in Band of Heroes.
Right.
So rather than playing with all the Creel Warriors and the Cabers and then Northern Raiders, they're playing like Femblades and Tuffalos, or Femblades and Champions, or Femblades and Femblades.
Yeah.
And obviously then they've got they've got that flex to go. Well, they've all got takedown. So if they play a mirror match, they're in a lot better spot. Or if you play into anything else that's got like tough on mass, like for instance.
Gravediggers.
But I think there's different strengths to each of them. So obviously John Henry's Storm the North one is immune to cold for most of the army, and they're a lot harder to shoot down on the way in because there's carapace all over the place as well as defenders.
I mean, there's carapace all over the place always.
Yeah, but it's not if the Band of Heroes list is much easier.
Oh, does the Band of Heroes?
It doesn't have the Creel Warriors with the Cable Throwers.
I've been seeing the South Africans. Well, to be fair, that was pure straight copied from John Henry's.
Yeah.
And
he's had enough games to work it out, right? So.
No, I think the caber throwers are what make that list. I'm really not that scared of it if it doesn't have the caber throwers.
So I think the other version, like the Fenblade and whatever, is with them.
Okay, when you said Fenblades, I've seen the Fenblades there with the caber throwers.
Can Fenblades have caber throwers? Or do you mean?
No, the Fenblades don't, but whatever the hell it is that takes the Fenblades.
Can you take Creels in Band of Heroes?
Yeah.
Maybe we can. Okay. All right. I've not actually seen any Creel Warriors in the Band of Heroes versions. So I've seen double Fenblades, or I've seen Fenblades, Champions, and Tuffalos. I've seen like a variety of different versions, but they're all much easier to shoot on the way in because they don't have carapace.
There we go. So John is saying in the chat he made a list in Band of Heroes with Cabers and Fenblades, and that's exactly the list Ellie stole.
Yeah, and I guess the advantage is Fenblades go a mile, they got Vengeance. If you still give them it, then...
And you just swamp the board. It is really insane.
Yeah. Dan in the chat loving the idea of if they haven't brought the stone attachment,
no
that gives
anti-corrosion.
no immunity to you just set the army on fire or corrode them, and it's very, very sad all of a sudden.
Yes.
But meanwhile, Dom and John Henry are having some sort of love affair in the chat of Ragnar.
Yes.
Ragnar. I played Dom's Ragnar the other week, and it was brutal to play into the first time. Definitely good.
Ragnar's another one of those you actually need to play into twice and then builders get a bit of a game plan against.
Yeah. I went in and completely fucked my game plan.
No,
so, I haven't seen it now. I'm like, cool. That's how I need to play into it.
That's the usual story. It's a time walk feat. You got to think it through.
So with that, I think we've talked enough about trolls and their minion friends. Next is Khador. So obviously it'll be fucking Karchev.
Of course it will.
But how many players are that? But like, will people be that committed to want to play all of the Karchev games?
Here's the thing. I mean, it's like I was saying earlier. I've come around. I have more respect now for the Krix Death Chev than for the Khador. But I still maintain you get a better pairing in Khador, because I think the caster you pair with is going to be a lot stronger in Khador.
Yeah, maybe, and they've got like a very big variety of what they can pair with it. So we will undoubtedly see a bunch of Khador. And there's gonna be a couple
bunch of Karchev.
A bunch of Karchev in Khador. And there's gonna be a good few players that will have been just rinsing Karchev games and will have tweaked their list slightly. I know. The Asgard guys, the warlords of Warsaw have like been just grinding games with Rob McCormick, and I think he's like we were talking about this in club this week. And we're saying like, who do we think's in with a chance of winning? And we'll come back to we'll come around to looking at the players in a minute. But yeah, I think Karchev in any form has got a good chance of winning, and maybe it's Khador, maybe it's Krix, but we'll see basically who pushes the envelope, who's had enough reps, who knows what they're doing into the good and the bad matchups, and yeah, like I said, it'll be Stalingrad. It'll be basically a ton of Rocketeers as the off list, or it'll be Zakova and all of the horrendous spell hate and kill and just kill your caster.
Or just some variety of Vlad 2.
Vlad 2 in any theme, basically.
In any theme. I mean, you can play him back in Doom Reavers. Yeah. His Armored Core version is fantastic. Yeah. He's just amazing.
I think it is all down. I think Khador's of rise and fall this weekend is going to be based on how well the Khador players have predicted what everyone else is playing. So if they go right, they know the rest of the Karchev. They know the rest of the field has been prepping for Karchev too. Yeah, so they need to go. How well have they worked? Yeah, they need to sit back and go right. Have I brought the right off list? So when I look at their list and go right, they've got a really good Karchev answer. Does my off list deal with them? So Dan's asked, he doesn't understand why it's not paired with Vlad 2, and the answer is that's one very good option. Like we were listing a whole bunch of options. Yeah, I think Vlad 2 will always be good. Yeah, I think the strong ones we'll see will be Vlad 1. Will be Zakova 1, Zakova 2, Vlad 2, and probably Irusk with the rockets. I don't think we're going to see Irusk. I think if you're playing rockets, I wonder if maybe we'll kind of go back into the Wayback Machine and see some what's it called? Is it Vlad? It's not Vlad 1. Signs Importance. It is Vlad 1. Vlad 1 rockets. Both Vlads. No. The other Vlads have. They've got the Upkeep, Hand of Fate. Yes, Hand of Fate, and then they've got Hand of Fate. Yeah, Vlad 1's the Signs Importance. Yeah. But I think it'd be interesting. Obviously Dan, you're in a meta that's got a very, very prominent Karchev player. I'm sure you've seen it all, right? So it's but there's a good variety, right? And it's just which one does the Karchev player pick? You know, what's their off list? If they bring the wrong off list, that's it, right? As soon as they come up against someone who is prepped and is like, I've got a Karchev answer, and they brought the wrong off list, that's them out of the tournament. So it's I think that's what I mean by how I think that's going to be what dictates the best Kado player, the rise and fall of Kado this weekend will be, did they bring the right thing? But yeah, you're saying Zakova 2? Yeah, maybe Zakova 2, but like I know for me, I think my Kalissa list is probably what I want to drop into Karchev and Kado. And if you come at me with Zakova 2, then I'll stand a lot of Risavas in front of you that are all immune to cold, which is most of your spells. And that'd be pretty sad. Yeah. While I shoot you to death from 20 inches away, because turn 8 pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, Kado definitely in a good position to take it this weekend if they've made the right choices, I'd say. So both of our old loves is next. 11 players, Legion of Everblight. 11
Yay!
Players. How many Lilith 4s? How many Meccano Birds are we going to see?
So I think we're going to see at least 9 Mech Lilies.
I think it'd be a little bit less.
Maybe limited by how many people could get hold of RideQuest minis. But yeah. We will definitely see no shortage of Mech Lilies.
Yeah, I think.
And then, I mean, we've talked about it at length before, but it's just so wide open for Legion. There are so many good lists and so many different archetypes that Legion can play.
Yeah, I think
that's really what makes Legion so strong.
I think I'd be surprised to see many Callus 1 lists, but if we did, I think they would do really well. You've got to have the right models and you've got to be willing to play it. Is basically the thing with Callus.
Well, I saw Dan was saying like he's not playing her; he just finds her dull.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have the same problem, but I have the same problem with Callus 1. I just find him boring as hell.
Is Jan playing Legion this weekend?
Jan is playing Legion this weekend.
My first game with Jan was a Callus 1 mirror match.
Yes. So, I'm not sure what he's pairing, but
come on. This is a secret South African England Roses tech.
Yes, England Roses is the South
African
team.
Roses. What's Jan playing? Yeah, I think Callus 1 is really strong, really good, but we won't see as many of him as you'd think. I think Callus and the Bethane, I think Krissa and the Bethanes are in a really
Krissa
good
is
spot.
Krissa is still amazing, just downtown threats. Both the Bethanes are really super strong.
Yeah, and people seem to be really enjoying playing Vale 1 as well again.
I don't know if that's people or if
I've actually seen a bunch of it on like War Table and on the table.
I'm trying to think.
2 is back now. Why would you bring Lilith 2 if there's Lilith 4 exists?
Yeah, basically, I have to agree. Absolutely. I think Vale 1 is mostly just Dean has been obsessing about, to get Vale 1 back on the table for about 3 years now. And
it's more of a
just can't help himself. I don't think she's the upping of her command definitely made her more viable.
Yeah.
I still don't think she's like the top pick in Legion.
Yeah.
We'll probably see her because Dean just can't help himself.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. People in the chat say, Vale 1's crazy good. Lilith 2 is back. No. I'm not sure I'd bring Lilith 2.
No, I wouldn't bring
the choice of your gun line. I think you bring.
I'd bring Lilith 4
or Lilith 4. Probably.
I'd bring
only
Lilith 4.
If you can't get Lilith 4 or you can't get it to work to your style of play, which is going to have some bearing on the event, I think.
Agreed. Lilith 2 is a great way to make Lilith 4 even more boring.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't mind not seeing about Callus because I think Callus 1 is pretty obnoxious to play into.
Callus 1. Oh god, Callus 1. Ugh.
I've not played into it for ages, but if you're watching the chat and you're playing on the weekend and you bump into Jan, who's blatantly Jan. He's playing play.
It feels
don't
wrong
give
to
him
out
any
Jan. You'll see Jan's
He
list
might
on the
not.
weekend.
He might not. He might be playing something completely different. But yeah, if you play against Castle, just don't fucking shoot him. Just don't give him any incubi. Just say thanks for spending £100 on incubi. You're not going to play any of them.
That's it. Just run something up right in front of them. Walk back and pass the clock. Like, don't waste your clock. Just don't.
Yeah. Run your risk of ass in front of them and just stop. Anyway, that seems a good one. But yeah, Dan, who's a Legion player, saying the four.
Beth 1, Chrissa. I wouldn't underestimate. I'd put Beth 2 right up there with those 3 as well.
Yeah.
Beth 2 is really strong.
Yeah. So Legion out of the way. We're finally reached.
We're finally on peak Warmachine.
Peak. If you're gonna cry this weekend, it's because you've just played Kruger 2 4 times in a row, and you're like, "Thank fuck Saturday."
I think we're going to see more variety than you're expecting.
I think.
I'm not saying you won't see Kruger in each pairing. I just don't think Kruger's going to be dropped in every game.
I think we will see Kruger in every list. Every list. Out of 14 players, I think at least 10 to 12 lists will have Kruger in, but most of them will be Kruger 0. I
mean, cards on the table. I'm bringing Kruger, but
you're Kruger, right? But I think in all honesty, I think we won't see as many Kruger 2s as people would expect. I think we'll see a lot of Wormwood. I think we'll see a lot. Like I say, a lot in the lists. I don't think we'll see him dropped as frequently. Maybe
the opening up of werewolves actually being playable is something it was the same when Tharn was released. That it's something Circle players, Kruger players shows you a lot. But it's something Circle players have been kind of, frothing for ages, is let the living beasts be decent. And there's a whole lot to unpack. Yeah. The werewolves are amazing. The wolves.
There's apparently another unpack. That's weird. I'm sure I've set this up to do it like
that's annoying.
An hour or something.
Okay.
But yeah, so while people cycle back in, who haven't subscribed. If you subscribe, you don't get to watch the adverts. Just remember that when you come back. I think you're right. I think we'll see a bigger variety. I think there'll be some. I think we'll probably see like a good 8 Kruger 2 players.
We'll see a lot of Kruger as
an.
Even if someone's looking to do something like take Kaya 2 back, so Kaya 2 and Laris, there's some really silly things you can do there. Like you basically build a Karchev. You build a Karchev 2 list in Circle. It's kind of silly.
I think we'll see a bunch of Kaya 3 lists as well. I think we'll see Kaya 2, Kaya 3, Wormwood, Kruger 2, Chromac 1. I think that's what we'll see. And
there's always someone who, for reasons I'll never understand, wants to play Chromac 2. I don't understand why, but there's always one.
Because he looks so cool, right?
I don't even think he looks that cool. I think he just. No, man, he's just
like the farm daddy. He's there with a giant axe to rip your throat out and steal your shopping. I don't know.
I don't know. So somebody took somebody took a hillbilly and gave him too many steroids. I don't know. It feels like he's on roid rage. Nothing about him
that is what the worm is, right? The devourer worm is basically void rage god.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I will predict we'll only see about 7 or 8 Kruger 2 players, and the rest will be a smashing of everything else. So we'll see a bunch. I think
it will be more
Wormwood, and then it'll be the Kayas and Chromac, and maybe.
I think we'll see more. I think we'll see more Kruger than you were saying. I think out of 14, I would expect to see 10 or 11. I think less. I think less Wormwood. Wormwood is not an easy caster to play.
So every Circle player I've seen for the last month has got Wormwood in his pair.
Really?
Everyone.
Okay.
And most of them haven't had Kruger.
That's fascinating.
So I'm basing mine on.
I do get that because both of them want
North.
Yeah, both of them want to play in Secret Masters, and if you're looking to play some werewolves, then you kind of
But
have to pick one or the
you can
other.
play Wormwood in Secret Masters now.
Yes, you can play Wormwood
Yeah.
in Secret Masters now.
Yeah, but yeah, Wormwood massive up here, and can really make the Crucible Guard list really struggle in term. So yeah, we'll see. Stu Cargill has finally returned. Stu, you asked for Signar. We spent 20 minutes talking about Signar.
Now it's too late. Now it's too late.
It's
Signar,
too
you're gonna have
late.
to watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, I'll stick this back up. So what I will, in fact, as we're coming towards the end of Signar of that circle rather, I will convert this into podcast format tonight. So people who aren't watching live or have caught bits and bobs can listen to the podcast version on their drive or on their train journey to Cardiff tomorrow. Or do it, or skiving off work in the morning, whatever they're going to do. So yeah, that's the intention. Yeah, I'll try and make sure that the podcast versions and the YouTube version will be live by 9 in the morning. That'll be my plan. No editing will happen because that's not my bag. But yeah. So that is the A to Z, the A to Z of the factions. So that's a quick rundown. So what are you predicting, though, Evan? What do you think is going to take home the event?
Take home?
94 players.
94 players.
What faction is going to bag it? And then can you narrow it down to a player?
I definitely can't narrow it down to a player. I'm not sure Circle deals particularly well with the Karchevs. I think Legion deals with it better. So if I had to place,
can Legion deal with Karchev?
Does a better job than Circle.
I don't know. I think it does a worse job than Circle by a significant margin.
My money's going on Legion.
Legion.
And do
you have a favourite? If it's not Jan, he's going to cry. You're right. I'm not saying he's sensitive.
I mean, Jan is my teammate, and I should bet on him. But
he's your teammate, your countrymate, your fellow Londoner.
He is. But just because I'm that guy, I think I have to bet on Dean Booth.
Okay, cool. Right, so that's one for Legion. What are the chat are thinking? There's a bunch of people in the chat going, yeah, Legion are dog shit into Kador. Which I really agree. Yeah, we've been talking about it a lot. I think, yeah.
I think they hit and run. I mean, we're talking about Vale, kind of kill 2 jacks and piss off.
But can they? That's the problem. Can they actually kill 2 Karchev jacks? And when they piss off, they don't actually go far enough back that they can't just get charged.
Yeah, Legion are fast. They can do that.
No, they're not though. Because they go in, right? They only get to do their full advance as the cat and mouse. So if they're in melee, so if any of their
there's something right next to them. Maybe not. Yeah.
Unless they go behind a wood or they fly over a building. Unless it's like Angelius is flying over buildings.
You've got angels and golabs doing that sort of thing.
But if it's not, then the Karchev. The Karchev jacks just walk in.
Oh, I lie. I have to change. Apparently, Dan's bringing the twins. I have to support the twins. I don't care if they're successful or not. I have to support the twins.
Yeah. We'll see. So Evan is a hardcore Legion member Blight for life. Thinks Legion will take him. I think Circle will win it. I think Circle are going to be. As long as I think there's a good amount of good Circle players, I think Circle win it. I think we will see probably. I'd go out on him and say Brett. Brett probably is one of my favourites to win. Who's like been on the
not a bad bet at all.
First team for years, or probably my second bet would be. I reckon Wout's got a good chance to. I think Wout and I think Wout and Brett are like similar like tip top caliber players. I think.
I mean, we've got Andy Garrard playing Circle as well.
Yeah. And Golly's in the chat. Golly might just come back, having played 2 games this year that's not on War Table, and borrowing half an army, you might just win it because it's just golly, isn't it? Right? It's just they're too good at war.
Happened.
Some people are just too good at war games. So yeah, I think I think Circle could take this. Just by virtue of how much they can answer and how much they can.
I've seen a miscatch here. I was looking through the Circle players and see Daniel Pedrick, and he's definitely not. He is bringing all 3 Eterni that have arrived in the UK up. He's not playing Circle.
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, if you're playing and you haven't amended your faction on tiebreak, best get on it. I don't know if Martin's gonna be just telling people off or what, but obviously so
you're gonna be there with your toys. Like it's not gonna be an issue.
If you're not gonna play the same faction, change it quick. But yeah, so that'd be really cool to see. There's obviously a team element as well, so amongst the various things people are competing for fastest caster kill, for most CPs, for the top 10, for winning the tournament, there's also a team based thing where they take the scores from the top 3 players from your team that you've registered, and then whoever scores best in their team wins. So if you, for instance, are all representing under Essex Meta or England Roses or whatever, then your top 3 players, only the top 3 will count towards the score. So we'll see. And on previous years, there's been like a best in country thing as well. So I think there's like I
don't know if we have enough countries this year.
Well, it'd be interesting. So it's based on how many players come from the country. So I think it's got to have it's either like 4 or 5 people from a country to qualify for a best of. Otherwise, you'd be like, I'm the only guy from Spain, I win it. I'm the only guy from Ireland.
Fair.
So there's got to be some competition. Are there enough Belgians going? There might be. I saw like a good few.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I think Gil's only Denmark. I'm not sure we've got any proper other Scandinavians. But yeah, we'll see. So it'll be definitely best English, best Welsh player. Best Welsh player, obviously, is like the pride of the event is the best Welsh player at the Welsh Masters. Yeah. What can I say? So yeah, it'll be really, really interesting to see. But yeah, I think Circle. Do you still think Legion? Have we talked you out of it?
No, I do still think Legion. I think the boogeymen. The boogeymen in Circle are not surprising anymore, and you don't have the variety of archetypes that you have in Legion. I think you're going to see some more interesting pairings that push it through in Legion.
Yeah. Well, I think Legion, as long as Legion players don't come up against Karchev in either faction, I'm not sure how well they deal with Crucible Guard either. So we'll see. I think Legion, Legion might have too many bad matchups. I think that's why I'm like too many options.
I mean, between the after scare factor of Lilith 4, that just is horrendous. And if you're really worried about being shot, you've got Beth 1, you've got Deflection, you've got between what's the name? Between the Blight Archon armor's upkeep and detail, like you can tank a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well,
or if you're terrified of shooting, just play Callous 1.
Yeah. So
that guy.
Legion players that are watching or listening, you all owe Evan a drink when you see him on the weekend. He's in your corner. I'm not.
Keep in mind I'm a terrible Legion player. It's why I've jumped ship and I'm playing Circle.
I do still have some random Legion stuff still in the KR multi-case on the top of wardrobe, still slowly being eked away. But yeah, I think that's most of what we expected to cover tonight. I think, player-wise, like I said, we have a few. There's a few really good players that are going to be going. I'm just going to whip through it quickly. Obviously, I've been playing against Andy Devine, who's on the Welsh team, who's playing Karchev in Cricks this week. Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Andy Garrard. There's a bunch of, I think, are all England Lions playing? I think they are. So Andy Garrard,
Lions.
Golly, Dean, Ryan. There's a fifth person on their team. Am I the bad person that doesn't know who the fifth person is on the line? Oh, and Christopher Clare. Christopher Clare with Rep.
Yeah.
So there's some real good players there. Brett obviously has won enough stuff in the past to just come out of nowhere. So a quick zoom down. I know some of our locals have been like putting in some good times. You never know, might surprise you. James Rogers, I think, is a really good means player. He's been playing.
Hey, we got Dom Wooding, who I haven't seen in ages.
Yeah, and then
That'll be good.
From the Belgians, we've got Benoit, Lawrence, and Wout, all good players, WC level players. It's going to be potentially pushing the envelope there, and some old some old WC players are coming back. Paul North's coming back. He's been all over Twitter this last week. Good have gone him, lad. And yeah, we're really got, like, I think a good spread of this. Could be a bunch of people's events. So it'll be interesting to see what the package turns out. Who ends up being the top 10. And like I said, yeah, we'll obviously try to get hold of lists for at least the top 10 players come the end of the event or next week. And if you be playing, good luck. Have fun. I will be playing, but I'll also be trying to stream games and try and pick a game from the winning, like.
You're going to try to stream and play. That's going to be challenging.
My streaming setup is now like super fun, super easy to do. It's basically tripod, iPhone, Twitch app, and it's done. So yeah, I'm going to try and do basically one from each of the winning rounds. That's the plan. So if you are in the winning section and you want to have your game streamed and you see me like in between rounds, then yeah, give me a shout. I'll quite happily try and set it up. As long as you look after my phone, because I have to sacrifice my phone to do it, and I use like an old iPhone from a war table. Yeah, that's the plan. Is to stream probably like 3 or 4 games tomorrow. Just casual warm up games, and then stream a game every round. It might go to pot if my battery pack and stuff like that runs out, but hopefully I'll aim for it. Where am I going to place? Dan, I'm going to top Welsh player. I'm going to aim for, like, not to be not be big headed. I would love to get top Welsh player. Apart from that, I'd like to finish top 20. I'd be happy with that. Obviously, I'd be happier with more, but you know. We'll see. It all depends.
I'm aiming for 8th place. I love the artwork on 8th place is gorgeous. It's a scar. It's a scar sailing the world in a bathtub. It's amazing.
Cool, Dave. I have an iPhone charger. I've also got a battery, but I'm just kind of thinking it'll only last so long, right? That's the point. So my plan is to run a game, charge it between rounds, or put the battery in and then cycle. But we'll see. But yeah, so if you've got a spare battery you aren't using, then give us a shout. And the top Welsh player definitely is like the sweet spot. But yeah, so thanks for watching us, thanks for joining us, and yeah, it will be a bunch of stuff. Obviously, everything that is streamed over the weekend will go into the queue to go up onto YouTube afterwards. But it's like a process. It's a process when you live in the sticks to put anything onto YouTube. I've worked out a big cheat to it though, but it means it's in, like, not in HD, but I think the sacrifice of being able to put it up within 10 minutes rather than overnight is probably worth it. But yeah, so thanks for watching us. If you want to keep tuned, yeah, you'll be able to watch the podcast, listen to the podcast version tomorrow morning, watch the YouTube version in the morning as well. And if you should subscribe to us, follow us. If you want to watch us on Twitch and subscribe, and you don't get to watch the adverts, I'll say it again just on the off chance. And and if you're missing any models, maybe not for this weekend, a bit late, but have a look at the Wayland affiliate link, because I've got an affiliate link with Wayland, so it just gives a bit back for me for putting the time in. and they are the new UK distributor for all Privateer Press lines. So they will get the first bunch of shit for everything. So that's where my turn here coming from. That's where they take them. So yeah, thanks very much. Thanks everyone for joining me. Welcome back again. Happy birthday.
Absolute pleasure. It's been great.
See a load of you people tomorrow afternoon in Cardiff in Firestorm, and the rest
That'll
of you
be fantastic.
We'll see you over the weekend, just on stream. So thanks for joining us. I'll catch you later.
Awesome.
Bye bye.
Cheers all.